your tow vehicle or your camper trailer, in my case, or caravan or horse float, boat, whatever you're towing, some of the preparations you need to do before you get it professionally weighed. So I'm going to get it weighed by TTWeights. They offer a really good service up and above what some of the others are offering at the moment. First thing you set up as if you're going camping. Full fuel tanks, full water tanks, your food, accessories, whatever you want to take, clothes, etc., as if I'm going away camping. So that's what I've been doing of late. I've been in preparation for that. So I've got some food in the fridge. All I've got left to do is basically pack some clothes, fill up this jerry can. Once we do the full weigh here, we're then going to drop all the water out of the tanks and then weigh that and see what difference that does to your towable weight in particular. Also the weight that's actually on your axle as well, and that's the one where I'm really interested, not just the towable weight, but I'm really interested to see what my rear axle weight, as well as the front, but in particular the rear axle weight on my vehicle is going to be, because that's going to be a huge factor on my future setup for camping, how this is going to be set up. I know a lot of you out there are getting your GVM upgrades, etc., and that's all fine and good, but remember, and I've seen a lot of YouTube videos out there haven't been mentioning this, remember that that's not the only thing that's going to factor legally what you can carry on your tow vehicle or camper trailer, caravan, horse float, boat, whatever you're towing. A really big thing, and a lot of you seem to be bypassing, is all the other criteria that you have to stick to with your towing vehicle. All that info is in your book, your manual. So I know a lot of us don't like reading. You guys are going to have to get your books out. If you go into the area, in my case is specifications, so there's a page here that gives me all the information I need to know. Now mine is the GLS. So look down the GLS. So it is, hang on, let me see if I can read this as well. 3200 models, so that's the 3.2 litre diesel. The 3800 models, they'd be your petrol. Mine is the 3200 model GLS. So you can see here, I have got a front axle weight limit. Most of them are very similar. You see here, right there, front axle weight limit of 1200 kilograms. The big one is that next one there, 1650 kilograms. My rear, I cannot go over at 1650 kilograms. So get out your manual, it's all in here. Another interesting one here is your gross combination mass. Okay, that's your GCM. That's the total weight of everything, including the trailer weight, the ball weight, and the vehicle weight. I cannot go above 5,310 kilograms. Now, in aid with some preparation, the other day I did take this to the public weigh bridge. They only charged me $10, and I got to have a chance to weigh my gross combination mass, which came in at 4,480 kilograms. So I'm well under the gross combination mass. It's including everything pretty much fully loaded, ready for camping. But that's not telling me what my axle weight is. In my last video I posted a couple of days ago, talking briefly about the rear axle weight limit, I had a couple of comments come back that are really interesting. One guy says he had a GVM upgrade done, and then in that GVM upgrade he was well under the gross GCM mass that I showed you, like I am now, well under by quite a fair bit. And he got one of these professional weighers, I suppose you could call them. I don't know if there's a distinct name that they call themselves. Maybe if this is one of you could let me know. And he was shocked to find out that he was 250 kilos over his rear axle weight limit. And what that contributes to is snapped axles. That's it, guys. If you overweight that rear axle, you are putting a lot of strain on your vehicle, especially you're going forward driving, and eventually you're just going to snap that axle. And how many times do we hear of forward drives out there snapping axles? It happens a lot. So something to look out for. So don't just think getting a GVM update is going to rectify your issue. So be particular. If you get these professional weighers in, like TTWeights, going to weigh mine on Sunday, and they will check that with very accurate scales. In fact, they have a scale under every tyre in their system, so not only will they be able to tell what your rear axle is, the front axle weight is, etc., they'll be able to tell me what weight it is on each side. And this is an extra service that they're offering at TTWeigh, is that if I've got more weight on one side, while it's on the scale, we'll be able to transfer weight around until we get it spot on, while it's on the scale. So that's what I love about it. As well as I pump the water out, I'll be able to see what difference that's going to make, if any, on the ball weight on my camper trailer. If anything, I have a feeling if I get rid of all the water in my camper, I might end up having a heavier ball weight. I've got 200 litres of water. I've got 2 tanks on my camper. One's a 120 litre, which sits under the bottom. The other is a 80 litre tank. So both of those tanks are behind the wheel. So what that's going to do, because there's weight behind the wheel over here, so that's the front, the weight's here, it's going to whoop, lift the front up, so there'll be less weight on here. So I might have an issue, yeah, I'm going to be well and truly under the weight of what this can carry, you know, what I can have on there. I'll be well under the GCM, but I still could be drastically overloading my rear axle weight. So in the video, and I'm going to do this Sunday, thank God, hopefully it won't rain, guys, hopefully it won't rain. If there's any reason it may not happen, it's because of rain. Let's fingers crossed. It's been a little bit showery today, so let's hope that's not going to be an issue. But I'm going to really keep an close eye and see what my rear axle weight limit is. I think I'm going to be under, but I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm over. Because remember, I've got a 110 litre upright fridge in here. I did have that drawer system that I built. I found since I got the camper I didn't need it anymore, so I have removed that. So the drawer's not in here anymore. I've got a 110 litre fridge in here. I've got a 330 amp hour Powerpool battery that weighs around 33 kilos sitting right at the back here, right at the back, as far back as this vehicle, behind this front, this rear axle. So all that weight's sitting there as well. And I've also got my electrical system, which is sitting directly above where the rear axle is. So there's a 13 kilo Victron multiplex. There's a Turbo GX, it's about 1 kilo. There's a Lynx distributor, which is about 3.5 kilos. There's an MPPT solar regulator, which is probably another couple of kilos. There's an Egon DC hub in there, which would be at least 2-3 kilos as well. See what I mean? It's starting to all add up, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried, to be honest, about what my rear weight is going to be. But in saying that, guys, I do have solutions. I've always wanted, ever since I got the camper trailer, I've been umming and ahhing to myself, moving all my Victron gear, what's in here, move it into the trailer. And I've been debating whether to do it ever since I got the camper trailer a year ago. I think I've had this for nearly a year now. Now if I'm really close, or particularly if I'm above my rear axle weight, no hesitation, easy decision. Next week everything's gonna come out except the fridge. I'm gonna work on trying to keep the fridge in there and move it in here. What's in here is lighter than what's in here right now. For example, the battery in here is looking 33-34 kilos. The battery in there now is 20 kilos. But remember, my PowerPole battery is right at the back here, where it's going to be all that weight sitting on the rear axle. How I used to have my full drive set up in the past, I used to have a simple battery setup inside a battery box located on the floor well behind the passenger seat, so the weight is distributed between the front axle and the rear axle, so it's not all only sitting on the rear axle like my setup currently is now. And I'll just have a simple setup there. It'll just have a MPPT solar regulator. It'll have, which I've already got a spare one, it'll have your Victron shunt, which I've already got a spare one. I've got two, one in the camper trailer, one in my full drive. And what else? I don't even think I need an AC charger, because I've still got a 440 watt Jinko high voltage solar panel on the roof, which is going to stay on there. Okay, that is a requirement, that will stay on there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make up another adapter so I can unplug over here and be able to connect that to my Victron gear here and use that solar panel to charge my camper trailer as well. So that way I can swap them over. I can either use that solar panel to charge the battery that's in here, which is all it's going to do is just run my 110 litre fridge. That's all I wanted to do. Oh, and some USB ports to run me phone chargers, etc. as I'm driving along. Frankly, I don't need a 240 volt system in here anymore. Ever since I got this camper trailer, it's very rare in the past year that I've used my 240, because I used to live, I had the 270 degree awning, and that's another thing. Since I've got the camper trailer, I haven't had an awning on my full drive for 1 year. I took it off over a year ago and I haven't missed it. I haven't missed it because I've got an awning on here. I've got an awning on my camper trailer when I'm camping. So, I mean, that's perfect. So, I've lost a lot of weight off my vehicle in that way as well. The ostrich wing, as great as they are, they're still around about 25 kilos. So I had a 25 kilos hanging off the side there. It hasn't been on here for over a year now. What I'm going to do, the system that comes out of here, and to be honest guys, even if it's well under my rear axle weight, I think I'm still going to do this. The system that comes out of here, it's all going to be located right up here. Instead of right up the back here, right here where it's going to distribute the weight over the front and rear. So then that means only half of that weight, not only is that product a lot lighter, but only half of that weight will be on the rear axle. And that'll also give me another advantage by allowing me to bring any extra accessories. Like if I want to bring a couple of bags of firewood, I can chuck them in the back here because I've got all this area all free. If I want to bring my scooter, electric scooter, I can put it in the back and not worry about being over on the weight. So yeah, I think for that reason, I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a much better setup for me, and I've basically already got everything that I need. I won't need to purchase anything. I think I've got enough cables to set everything up here. Now it's going to be a big process. I just had to move my camera out of the rain. It started raining a bit. Mind, it's not really a problem. My camera is waterproof. I went through and did a lot of research to help the guys that are professionally going to weigh my setup, and I've got it all listed here if you want to pause that and have a look. So that's the information on my Pajero, roughly the driver, fuel and gear. You can see there I've got set at 450 kilos. Now I can drop a lot of that weight down by swapping over my electric system. My curb weight on my Pajero is 2,245 kilograms. Driver, fuel and gear 450 kilos. That makes a total vehicle weight is 2,695 kilos. The max I can go is 2,850. So I'm well and truly well under that. The rear axle limit, which is going to be the interesting one, is 1,650 kilos, as I mentioned before. The maximum tow ball limit I'm allowed on my vehicle that I have to make sure that I keep under is 250 kilos. So that's another thing I'm going to have to be very careful with. And that's for the main reason that I got rid of my ARC 750 for the Boss. Number one, the Boss is separate. I can separate it, so while I'm driving I can store it in the vehicle, or I can store it in the rear of the camper trailer, or I can store it behind the front seat, and all that's leaving then is just the weight of that bracket, which is not much at all compared to the ARC 750. So just doing that alone has gotten rid of at least 15 or so kilos off the ball weight there. Now I've got other things I can do to reduce the ball weight. For example, I've got three tanks of Jerry here. One is a 20 litre, another one's another 20 litre, so it's 40 litres, and I've got a 7 litre, so it's 47 litres of diesel capacity. Now I'm considering removing the 7 litre one here for my diesel heater. The tank itself weighs about 2.5 kilos or 3 kilos, so I'm looking at 10 kilos, so an additional 10 kilos I can get rid off the ball weight. But then you're probably wondering, but hang on, you know, where are you going to get your diesel from to run your diesel heater? Off my second 20 litre jerry can. If you go back on my videos, you'll see I've done a mod where I modded the 20 litre, and I'm using that as a fuel tank instead of the dedicated diesel one. So that's going to get rid of 10 kilos there, and plus as I use the fuel that's in my jerry can, well, that's also going to reduce the weight. But I need to make sure that I am under 250 kilos with 2 full tanks here. If not, then I'll probably only be able to take the 1 jerry can then, if worst comes to worst. So we'll see what. I got 2 tanks of gas, 4.5 kilo gas. I can just take the 1. So I've also got that option. This is the beauty with TTWeights that I'm using. They're going to allow me the opportunity to remove these 2 items to see what difference it makes to the ball weight while it's on the scale. So I'm really looking forward to that. My ModCon Quattro trailer, let's briefly go through that. It's got a tar of 1,540 kilos, so it's got a bit of weight in it, but remember, this is a heavy duty off-road camper trailer. This thing's built solid. It's got an ATM 2 ton, so I cannot go above 2 ton. I have to be under 2 ton. This, as you see now, is pretty well fully loaded, ready to go camping, and it is 1,880 kilos as it sits here. So I'm 120 kilos under. Estimated tow ball weight at this stage, as you can see here, I'm looking at 220 kilos on that ball weight right now. So I'm well under. The only thing I need to add here is I've got another 20 litre jerry can that's empty. I'm going to go tomorrow and fill that up to be ready for the weigh-in on Sunday. So this will give you a bit of an idea on what my plans are, future plans on, all depending on what's going to happen with this weigh-in that's happening in 2 days time. And hopefully it'll happen. I'm a bit worried about the weather, but if it doesn't happen Sunday, it will eventually happen, guys. You now got a good idea what we're working with. Whatever happens, I think from next week I'm probably going to start relocating and swapping these systems over, making this one full on 240 volt power, and this one here would just be a simple setup just to run my 110 litre fridge and some USB power adapters so I can keep my phone charged while I'm driving along. So guys, 2 days time, the next video you'll watch from me. Hopefully it'll be either late Sunday afternoon, most likely it'll be Monday before I get a chance to edit this. So next Monday afternoon, expect to see a video out on the weigh-in of my setup. How exciting that's going to be. So till then, cheers, bye.